Hello and welcome to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be taking another look at Football Manager 2022. And we're still working through our positions in the Gegenpress system and talking about the type of players that would work well in them. And today we're taking a look at left backs. And in the last episode I took a look at right backs, and really left backs are basically exactly the same in terms of what we're looking for, only they play on the left. So I do recommend watching that video, as I might go slightly more in depth into some things than I do in this video, where we'll assume that you've seen that. I'm going to put a little link up in the top right, so feel free to click on that to go to that video if you like. But just quickly, fullbacks on both sides, but also on the left, is someone who's going to look to get forward as much as possible. They're going to be providing the width. We're going to see the inside forwards in attack tucking in. So the fullbacks are really going to be covering the whole left side of the pitch and swinging in crosses and sort of passes along the ground into the attacking players. And they should be getting quite a few assists, hopefully. So we're looking for an attacking player, someone with a lot of stamina to get up and down, and someone who is also fairly good in defence, because they will be required to come back and put in tackles and make sure that we're not conceding goals. So we're going to take a look at someone who I think is probably the best in the game in this position, and that's Alphonso Davies at Bayern Munich. Canadian player, is only 20, and in real life he's widely regarded as one of the best in this position. For me, he probably is the best in the game. I know people talk about David Alaba at I think he's at Barcelona now, but he's a bit more of an all-rounder, I think, whereas Davies is very much a specialist in this attacking left fullback position. And again, the sort of attributes that we're looking for are going to be very similar to what we're looking, well, exactly the same as what we were looking at a right back. So I'll move through these fairly quickly. So pace and acceleration, very important, and we can see Alphonso Davies at 19 for both attributes is probably among the fastest players in the game. Stamina, he's pretty good at 16. He's someone who's going to be able to run and combine with his natural fitness. He's going to be able to play twice a week throughout the season, I would hope. Agility important at 14. It's a pretty good value. He's going to be someone who is going around players, probably like his opposition fullback and stuff, so on. Dribbling, very important. He's going to be a ball carrier, and at 17, he very good in this attribute. And crossing, someone who's going to be, as we said earlier, firing in crosses. And 13's a very good value. It's absolutely fine. Marking and tackling, at 12 and 14, I would say Alphonso Davies is very good at that. First touch and technique, again, pretty high. So that's going to be good. He's going to be able to control the ball quickly, get up the flank, and then send in a cross. That's what we're looking for. Concentration and positioning, again in the defensive phases of the game. He's at 12. He's not amazing at these, but it's more than good enough, I would say. Decisions is another important stat, and again at 12, he's absolutely fine. Movement is also important, so something like anticipation and off the ball at 12 and 14, that's pretty good. And work rate as well at 15. I think we mentioned in the previous episode on right backs that something like sort of your 13, 14 to 15 kind of range is the sweet spot, really, because if you start getting too high in work rate, you'll find that the players are just getting really worn out. They're working too hard, really, for the team. So he's got a good value for that. And lastly, something like bravery and determination, which, again, Alphonso Davies is very good in. And to mention again, he's only 20, so he is going to develop further. And he's also someone who, at the beginning of the game, is reasonably attainable. I think at the start of the game you could be looking at something like potentially as low as 60 million, but potentially something like 60 to 85 million could be the sort of thing you're getting him for. But I've never actually managed to buy him in a campaign, because by the time the club I've been controlling is at a stage where they could afford him at this sort of value, Bayern have actually valued him, at like 150 to 200 million. So he's still been out of my range. But if you're at a reasonably wealthy club at the beginning, then and you need a left back, then I think Alphonso Davies should be someone you should look to recruit, because he's very, very good. We're going to move to another very good player, someone who, along with Davies, is arguably the best left back in the game. In fact, there might be people who say that he's better than Alphonso Davies. They're certainly roundabout on a par with each other, I would say, and that is Theo Hernandez at Milan. So, French player, 24 years old, so he's sort of just coming into his peak, and we can see that in terms of the pace, he's very, very quick. Well, not quite as quick as Davies, but very quick. He's got good agility and balance, so with his good dribbling skill, he's someone who's going to be able to remain upright and carry the ball well. 15 for crossing is excellent. His stamina very good. Work rate around that sort of 13 sweet spot. Bravery and determination are high. Composure is good. Concentration, decisions, off the ball is fantastic. He's got very, very good movement. Marking and tackling also, I think that's the same as Davies, isn't it? 12 and 14. He's got good technique, good first touch. And yeah, is just a very, very good player. He's someone who, in his player traits, gets forward whenever possible, runs with the ball often. It says he hits free kicks with power. He's not amazing at free kicks, but it might, you don't get that many left-footers in the game, really. Generally speaking. So maybe someone who'd be good for those sort of direct free kicks near a goal, perhaps. In terms of cost, I think with Theo Hernandez, he's another player who is relatively gettable at the beginning, but the longer you leave it, probably the more expensive he's going to become. And at the beginning of the game, you might be able to get him for around the sort of 50 to 60 million pound mark if you're lucky. He's been at Milan for a little while. This is his third season, so he's someone that they should be open to selling for the right amount. And yeah, very highly recommended, good target. We're going to look at another player who is sort of in the prime of his career, really. Jose Gaya, who is at Valencia. 26 years old. He's a very pacey fullback, very agile, good bravery and determination, very good decisions, concentration, positioning, anticipation off the ball are all very high. The marking and the tackling, again, sort of 12 and 14, seems to be a recurring theme amongst these players, which is good values. Technique and first touch are both excellent. He's, again, fairly good at free kicks. Dribbling's okay. It's good, and so is the crossing. And stamina and work rate are good too. He's 26 years old, so I don't think he's going to improve any further. So what you see is what you get. But is someone who gets forward whenever possible, which is a good trait to look for. In terms of cost, in all my campaigns, he's actually remained at Valencia. Almost every campaign I've had, and he's available for maybe sort of around the 60 to 70 million pound mark. We're going to move away now from these sort of proven players who are already very good in the game. We're going to take a look at a few more development options, really. Owen Wijndal, and he's someone who is on the younger side, so 21. He's actually older than Alphonso Davies then, but he does have a lot of room to grow. He's already pretty quick. I mean, 14 for pace and acceleration is more than fine for a fullback. He's got decent agility, good stamina, nice work rate, bravery and determination is high. He's actually quite good flair for a fullback. That's quite good. So he's going to produce little unexpected moments of magic, which are very useful. Anticipation off the ball are good. 12 to 15 for tackling. So he's probably the best tackler we've looked at so far. Dribbling and crossing are both good. First touch and technique both good. Gets forward whenever possible in his traits. He does dive into tackles, and as we mentioned before, that might be something you want to train out of him if you do sign him. But hugging the line, so he's going to be someone who stays on the left as he gets up, and he crosses early as well. So that might be a useful trait if you have someone like a Haaland up front, someone who's very good in the air, or even one of the inside forwards, perhaps. And another good thing about Wijndal is that he is very affordable. I mean, at the beginning of the game here, he's actually rated as this sort of 36 to 57 million, but he's also coming near to the end of his contract. He's got 2 years remaining at this point. So you could wait those 2 years. I've signed him on a free in 2023, and he's been very good for that. You could probably get him for around 35 to 40 million pounds now, but then I've signed him after the first season for more like 12.5 million. So he's someone who should, unlike the others, he's someone that the longer you wait, actually he might become more affordable, either free or sort of for half his current value or less. The next player we're going to look at is slightly more expensive, but if you're looking for British players, Luke Thomas at Leicester. When you think of the English left-backs, you're probably more inclined to think of Ben Chilwell, but being already at Chelsea and being an already very good player, Chilwell is fairly unattainable in the game, I would say, whereas Luke Thomas here could be had. And it is variable. Again, I've had campaigns where I've got him for around the £35 million mark, and ones where he's gone for a more like £50 million mark. But he is 20, so he comes with good stats. You can see here the pace, the acceleration, the agility, stamina, work rate. determination, bravery, anticipation, positioning, the tackling and the marking, the technique, first touch, and the dribbling and the crossing. So he's got all the sort of good attributes that we're looking for, but he also has a lot of room to grow. I've signed. I think I'll put a slide up now of what he'll look like in a few years, seasons time, and you can see that already he's starting to look very, very good in that position. He is actually listed as a wonder kid here. He doesn't have any player traits at the moment, but he's young, so within a few seasons you'd be able to get the sort of traits we're looking for, like gets forward often and runs with ball often, that sort of thing. So recommended. And finally, the last player we're going to look at is perhaps even more of a development option. It's Miguel Gutierrez, and he's currently in Real Madrid's B team. He's 20 years old, runs with ball down left there, we can see, left-footed. And he already looks pretty good, but he's someone who has a lot of room to improve as well, like in his potential ability. I think it's around about, I can actually check it here, around about the 165 mark, which is verging on world class. He's currently 122, so you can see that he's got a lot of room to improve further on these stats, and he's already someone who would probably get in the team for most Premier League clubs, to be honest. Maybe not Liverpool, who've got Andrew Robertson, or Chelsea, who've got Ben Chilwell. But for a lot of other clubs, he would actually be a starter, I think. He's got good pace. Stamina could be improved as well as strength, but, he's 20, so he's got, room to grow in those positions, attributes. Good anticipation. Positioning is okay. Decisions is pretty good. Very good determination. Bravery's all right. I wouldn't go any lower than 10, but I think as long as you're in double figures for that, you're probably okay. Decent marking and tackling, technique, first touch, very good dribbling and crossing, and a good work rate as well. And I'm going to put up a slide now of what he'll look like in a few seasons' time, and you can see that he definitely grows into someone who I think would be a very good option for anyone looking for that kind of attacking left fullback. So there we go. Those are a few of my suggestions for the left fullback position in the Gegenpress system, going for a very attacking route as we did on the right backs as well. Thanks very much for watching. I hope that was useful. If it was, then it'd be great if you could like the video and perhaps even subscribe to the channel, which would be fantastic. And I'll see you again next time, when we're going to start looking at the centre-back positions as well. Thanks very much, and bye for now.